Hello, good morning. Trying to decide what I want this morning. If I want some regular coffee or I want some pumpkin spice. I think I want some pumpkin spice, so I'm gonna save some regular coffee for samples. So if you want samples of skinny coffee, that's not what I hopped on here for, but put hashtag samples below and I'll hook you up. My dogs are outside fighting. It's pretty funny. Good morning. If you are hopping on, say good morning. You hear my dogs, they're barking. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're outside. Dozer's on a runner because he is a husky, so he elopes. Whenever we let him out without a leash, he runs away. And usually he goes to like the pond behind our house and he goes for a swim. So he's on a runner at all times because of that. And Mopar, he's just a yard dog. He does his own thing. He don't go by the road. He won't go by the road. How many of you guys have dogs? Drop a 1 below if you have a dog. And if you have a dog, what kind of dog do you have? Or send me some pictures of dogs because I love to see them. We never thought that we were gonna have 2 dogs. We honestly got Mopar. He's our chocolate lab, and we knew that chocolate labs were family dogs. So we decided to get him. We got him at it was 3 months old. He was young, he was a baby. Ooh, that is hot. He was really, really young, and he grew up with Bailey because we got him when Bailey was 2 years old. Ooh, this smells good. This smells good. We got him when he was 3 months old. Good morning, Christina. Yeah, I know you have 3 dogs, and you have, I can't remember what kind of dogs you have. Tell me what kind of dogs you have. I'd love to know. I've seen pictures of them, but I can't remember what their breeds are. Good morning. If you are hopping on, say hello. If you have dogs, I was just talking about them. Drop a 1 below if you have dogs. I have to sneeze. You ever feel like that, where like you go to sneeze and you don't, but like you have to like look at the light? Are you supposed to look at the light when you have to sneeze? Is that what you're supposed to do? Good morning. I decided to have pumpkin spice coffee this morning because I chose to keep, where are they? I chose to keep, woo! These for samples for you guys. So if you want samples of the skinny coffee, put hashtag sample below, hashtag sample, and I will hook you up, girlfriend. Good morning. I'm just making this because it's so good. Oh, I got Bailey off to school this morning, which was crazy hectic because she hasn't been to school. All kids are going back to school. Drop a 3 if you are excited for your kids to go back to school today. It's kind of bittersweet for me because I like to spend time with Bailey. Like, I like doing the arts and crafts thing with her and painting nails and learning things, and we learn how to count and we practice our spelling and we do all these fun things, all the fun things. But in the same sense, she drives me freaking nuts sometimes. And sometimes she's just too much. Sometimes she just like has so much energy and it's like, oh my God, how do you have so much energy? It's ridiculous. And I can't handle her. I'm like, where do you get it from? Where do you get it from? I have no idea. Was I like that when I was a kid? I have no idea. I don't think that I was, but you never know. I don't remember back then, to be honest. So yeah, she went back to school today, and guess what? I woke her up an hour early because I was like, you know what? She's gonna procrastinate something wicked, and if I don't get her up early, I know for a fact I'm gonna regret it. And so I got her up an hour early, guys. I got Bailey up an hour freaking early, but she's like me and she's a procrastinator. And you know how sometimes when you have kids and they say they're gonna be just like you and you're like, no, they won't, no, they won't. Well, my kid came out looking nothing like me but acts exactly like me. She's got my personality, she's got my excitement every single day, she's got my my stubbornness, she has my determination, she has my like weird personality when I'm just like awkward, and because that's literally how I am. I'm super awkward, but I'm like really sarcastic. She gets that from me. She also gets that from Matt, because that's why Matt and I are together, because we're super sarcastic. Yeah, we're super sarcastic. Our whole relationship is pretty much just going back and forth, just slamming each other, and it's freaking hilarious, but at the same time it's like, I don't know, it's awkward, but I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so that's not what I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about bubbles. As I labeled this today, I just got this. Seriously, I'm so excited. I just started taking this yesterday and I started working out. I know this is super off topic, but I woke up this morning, guys, and let me know if you've ever felt this way before. I worked out for the first time, I'm not even kidding you, in like almost 6 months. No, not even 6 months. It's been way longer than that, okay? Because I was pregnant. I was pregnant back in August. I had Bo back in August, and I hadn't worked out before that. I didn't work out my entire pregnancy, okay? I was super lazy. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get fat, and that's just how it is. That's just what I did throughout my pregnancy. I didn't do anything, especially because I had the my pubic bones are like this, so like I had troubles with my like all this whole area right here, just like killed throughout my whole pregnancy. So I went to a physical therapist and she had me do exercises, but they weren't like physical exercises. They were like stretching exercises and stuff like that. So anyways, I hadn't worked out probably, I would say, figure Bo, we got pregnant with Bo more than a year ago. So I would say I probably have not worked out and this is so bad to say, but I probably have not worked out in like at least 16 months. Like, I'm dead serious. So I started it yesterday for the first time, and I did some of like, I did sit-ups, I did like curls, I took the dumbbells and I was going like this, and I was going like this, and I was like going like this, and I was going crazy with them. And then I was doing squats. Guys, I did 30 freaking squats my first day, and I am dead. I woke up this morning. Drop a 4 below if you have ever done this before, but you have worked out so intensely your first time, overdid it, and then you go to sit down in the toilet and you can't even squat to sit down in the toilet. That was me this morning. I woke up and I was like, oh God, I can't get down. I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I finally got down the toilet and I just relaxed, and I was like, man, that sucked so bad. So today is round 2. I've got some work to do early this morning before Bo wakes up, but as soon as Bo and Matt wake up, Matt told me he was going to work out with me this morning, which should be really, really interesting. It was absolutely crazy. Yeah, that was my life, girl. That was my life, Katie. This morning I was like, I could not even sit. I went to go get out of bed, and my bed probably is like, it's like this low to the ground, okay? And I went to go get up because we have like a platform bed with the cloth background on it or whatever in my bedroom that we bought off Amazon, of course. But I went to go get out of the bed and I had to hold the wall. I was literally like this. I was like, trying to get up this morning. It was absolutely terrible. And I finally get up and I'm just like, Bailey, get your butt out of bed. Get your butt out of bed. Let's go. I was so frustrated because I couldn't walk. Even getting into the car, I was like, it was nice because it was cold outside. So it's kind of like putting some ice on my thighs, but I'm serious. It's freaking horrible this morning. That coffee is so good, but it's so damn hot right now. So I'm not going to drink it right now. Nope. I'm gonna let it sit for a minute and then I'm gonna talk to you guys. So, all right. So how many of you guys every single day, this is not gonna be related. I'm gonna, first and foremost, disclaimer notice, this is not about my business, but I'm gonna incorporate the business because the business is my life, right? Whereas like a 9 to 5 is your life, right? So a lot of the things I talk about every single morning, I talk about my business because that is my life. Like, that's my life. Whereas like I said, your 9 to 5 is your life. Your kids are your life. My kids are my life. Like, that's how it is. We live completely separate lives. So I talk about how my life is, right? And I compare it to my life. So I listened to this thing this morning, actually, Steve Harvey. Oh my gosh. How many of you guys know who Steve Harvey is? Drop a 5 below if you know who Steve Harvey is. A 5 below, because he is the man. Like, I not only love his shows and his like funniness on Family Feud and every single thing that he plays in, he is amazing. The talk shows that he's on are amazing. But some of you guys might not know this, but Steve Harvey has his own podcast where he is actually an inspirational speaker. I don't know if you guys knew this. Drop a 6 below if you knew that. If you didn't know that, just write I didn't know that. But he is actually a motivational speaker. He speaks sense and God into people and things like that, and he's just absolutely amazing. I love listening to his stuff, and so I listened to something from him this morning, and I've been on this trend where like I've been listening to him every single morning, and it's just like waking me up in such a good mood. Like, I'm listening to, yeah, Katie, like I didn't know that either until I started really like looking for like personal development stuff, but he's absolutely amazing. He's right up there with like Les Brown. He's up there with Will Smith is on there. He is an amazing inspirational speaker as well. There's just several of them. There's several of them. Even like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey has some stuff that he talks about where he shares his life, and he like talks about like what it's like to kind of live to other people's standards and things like that. But anyways, I listened to this thing this morning, and I wanted to kind of bring it into my life to share with you guys like my perspective of it. But what I got out of it was like, so we all live in bubbles. No matter what you're in, like we all live in bubbles, right? We all have our own like group of friends that we're surrounded by. We do our own things every single day. A lot of us, you know, we live in, you know, the 9 to 5 workforce. You know, some of us own businesses, whatever the case may be. But that bubble usually starts out super small, especially if you have done the same exact thing every single day for years upon years upon years, okay? And so, like, how many of you guys would say live the same life, and you feel like you live the same life? And I've done this before. Like, this used to be my life. You've lived your life over and over and over again. Every single day is exactly the same. Maybe you work a 9 to 5 job, and you wake up in the morning, you get your kids to school, you know, you go to work, you work your hours, you come home, you get the kids out of daycare or wherever they come from. Maybe they're home already, I have no idea. But then you sit down, you eat supper, then you watch a movie and go to bed every single day. How many of you guys feel that way? Drop a 6 below if you feel like your life is like that every single day. Or maybe you are a stay-at-home mom and you wake up, you take care of your kids, and then you watch a movie before you go to bed and go to bed. Or maybe, you know, you are someone who runs a business, and you run a business like a local store or something like that, and you go and work your business every single day and come home and it's like the same thing. How many of you guys feel like you're on repeat? Like, drop a 6 below if you are on repeat and you never do anything different. Everything stays exactly the same. Because this is what he talked about, and he said that in that bubble, most people are living in the same exact routine of things, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And then some people, or most people, sit there and say, well, if your routine is exactly the same every single day, but yet they say, well, why is nothing changing? Like, why is nothing changing? Like, I want more in my life. I want more in my life. I want to do different things. I want to be able to travel, or I want to be able to take my kids to go and do these things, or I want to be able to do, like, order things offline without having to check my bank account, or I want to be able to, you know, just create more memories and do more things and love more things and stuff like that, okay? And the thing is that what he was talking about was, he was saying, in order to bring more into your life, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're doing in your life, no matter if you're working the 9-to-5 job, no matter if you're a stay-at-home mom, no matter if you're a business owner, if you want more in your life, you have to be willing to do more. You have to be willing to bring more into your bubble. And so he was referring to things like, if you don't like the gym that you're working out at and it's not working for you and you're having a hard time getting to it, switch gyms, go to a different gym. Like, change your story inside your bubble. If you are going to a church, you don't really care for that church, you're not really getting anything out of it or anything, change the place that you go to. Change it. If you don't like the job that you are working at, if you don't like working paycheck to paycheck, if you don't like living your life just to live every single day the same way until you die, then you need to change it. You have to bring more into your bubble. You have to be willing to bring more into your bubble. You have to be willing to do more in your bubble. And so creating a difference in your life, pretty much. And so I was thinking about this, and I was thinking back to when I was a CRMA, and I worked for 7 years as a CRMA. How many people are on here that work? Drop an 8 below if you are working in the medical field currently, because kudos to you. I want to give a shout out to you, because I know how difficult it can be and how much of a demanding job it is. And we need those kinds of people. We need those kinds of people who are willing to do it, okay? And I'm not saying that I'm knocking on those people whatsoever, because I did that for 7 years. I know exactly how it is. I know exactly what it looks like to work those long hours, to strain yourself, emotionally, to have to lack sleep every single day, because it's just it's a job that demands your time, and the more time you put in, the more you get out. Whereas, like, when I first started, I was working nonstop. I was working 110 hours. That was how my life was for 7 years. It was nuts. It was crazy. I kept thinking to myself, I just want more out of my life. I kept thinking to myself, like, I just want something different. I'm tired of living this crappy paycheck to paycheck. Like, we are not barely even making it, and I'm working and I'm exchanging 110 hours of my time every single week. I'm taking that time that should be with my child away from her and putting it into this job. And I didn't realize for so many years that in order to get more out of my life, in order to change my future, and in order to change the reality of not being able to create a relationship with my child or my man, or in order to stop fighting with him over financials, or in order to stop not being able to put gas in my tank. Like, I was driving my Dodge Ram at the time. That was expensive to put gas in that gas tank. How many of you guys feel like you ride on E? Drop a 9 below if you feel like you ride on E constantly. That was my life. And I thought that my life was always going to be like that I was just putting in $5 of gas, just enough to get me to work, because I might need that money somewhere else. Drop a 9 below if you feel that way, like you have done that before. You've robbed Peter to pay Paul. You've had to deal with the disappointment and the struggle, and not being able to know whether you're going to be able to pay this bill this month. Drop a 9 below if you feel that way, because that was my life. That was how I was every single day. Matt and I were $500 in the negative on not just one account, but 2 accounts. And I thought that life was always going to be that way. And I kept saying to myself over and over again, I just wish that something was different. I just wish that something would come along and just drop a shit ton of money in my account, because I need it. I need that money. Drop a 9 below if you have felt that way, because that was my life. It was the worst, probably the worst time in my life, and I was doing everything I possibly could to try to make it happen, to try to change everything. And I felt like I was getting nowhere every single day. Drop a 9 below if you feel that way. If you feel that way, like you are getting nowhere and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again every single day. Now, here's the thing. Our CEO quotes quotes a lot of really inspirational people and a lot of people who have made huge history. And he quoted, I think it was Albert Einstein, and he said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day and expecting different results. I'm going to repeat this, okay? Because I want this to sink into your head, because this was the quote that changed my life, okay? The definition of insanity, and I might be saying a little bit messed up, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day, but expecting different results. Now, isn't that crazy? Like, let that sink in. That is crazy. That is what we do every single day. That is what we were doing. We were doing the same thing. I was working 110 hours every single week, expecting to just magically just come up with the money somewhere it was just gonna randomly show up in my account. Like, God was just gonna make it happen, and he was just gonna come through with me just doing the same damn thing every single day, all day long. And I was working and I was working and I was working, and I wasn't focusing so much on my relationship with my daughter, and I wasn't focusing so much on my relationship with Matt. I was focusing on making that money to keep the roof over our head, to keep food in our stomachs, and try to make sure that we weren't struggling anymore. And I just said, well, maybe once I pay this off, I can make things happen. Or maybe once I get this paid off, I can make that happen. And I said this every single day. Drop a 9 below if you feel that way, if you felt that way before. If I just pay this one thing off, I can make it happen somewhere else. But that's just not the case. That money always has a place to go, no matter what. No matter what, you're always going to have a place for your money to go. And so you can choose to either change your life and make a difference in your life and do something different to change your life. And you gotta switch rhythms, you gotta switch gears, you have to switch it up, because otherwise you're doing the same damn thing every single day and expecting for things to change. And that is the definition of insanity. And so I did that for years and years and years, until I started thinking to myself, I'm like, how could I make extra money without having to work the second job? Because the second job was killing me. It was killing me. I was lacking sleep. I was sleeping maybe 4 hours a night. I wasn't making it. I was crying myself to sleep most of the time because I was just overexhausted. Bailey had no idea who I was. I can't even tell you guys, the first time I stayed home with her, like when I retired myself from CRMA work and I was able to come and work from home full time, the first day that I stayed home with Bailey, she didn't even want me to help her get her dressed. Like, that's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. She didn't listen to me. She had no idea who I was. She didn't want to play with me. She didn't want anything to do with me. She wanted me to make her lunch, nothing. And I sat here and I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried, because for the last 3 years of her life prior to this, because I came home when she was 3. She's 5 now, so I've been home for 2 years, working from home 100%. And I just remember how hurt I felt when I had worked so many hours and I exchanged, and I robbed the time from her to work 2 jobs to keep a roof over our head and food in our stomachs. And so I lived to work. I didn't work to live. And people used to say that to me constantly. They used to say, Chelsea, you need to start learning how to work to live, not live to work. But the thing is that if I worked to live, we wouldn't have all the things that we had. We wouldn't have had all those things. And the thing is, it got to the point where we were so far behind on our bills because life happened. Life can happen at any point in time. Any point in time, you can get a phone call, someone passed away, and all of a sudden you have to pay for a funeral. Or, all of a sudden, you get a huge vet bill from your animal, from your dog, your cat, whatever, and you have to pay that, and that sets you back. Any point in time, that can happen. Any point in time, you can get a back injury and be out of work for 3 months. And what are you gonna do at that point? Like, what are you gonna do at that point, honestly? And I didn't think about these things. I did not think about these things. And what happened to us was we got pregnant. We got pregnant with Bailey Jane, And once we got pregnant with Bailey Jane, we didn't realize how much it cost to have a baby. And so what happened was, I had worked, I'd worked, and then I got to the point where I had preeclampsia with her, and I got taken out of work a couple of months early, or not a couple of months early, it was like a couple weeks early, sorry. Couple weeks earlier than I should have been. And so this happened, and I couldn't work anymore, and I had trouble. Like, it was hard. It was hard. And I ended up out of that. We ended up getting behind, so far behind on our rent, we couldn't afford to pay it. We couldn't afford to catch up on it anymore. We had problems with our truck because I had a Dodge, what's it called? It was just a pickup truck. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Dodge Dakota, sorry. I don't know why I just brain farted that, but I had a Dodge Dakota. It was brand new. I had bought it. I was paying for it, but then all of a sudden the bank screwed me over and it jacked up the price of it, okay? Because something had changed in their system that had jacked the price of my loan up. I didn't think that they could do that, but I didn't read the fine print when I signed the papers. So they jacked the price up, okay, right after I had a baby, right after I had been out 2 weeks, because I couldn't walk anymore. I couldn't do anything anymore. My blood pressure was so high, my feet were so swollen, I couldn't do it anymore. And my job was very physically demanding. I had to rotate people, I had to flip people, I had to lift them up off the toilet and lift them while they're in the shower, and I had to do things that I couldn't do. I could no longer do those things. And so that was my unexpected thing that had happened, okay? My truck got repoed. And you think about this was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, my truck got repoed. Matt and I's credit went to crap. My credit was amazing. And then all of a sudden, crap hit the fan and my life fell apart. It was like the first time my life had ever really, truly fallen apart, and I got depressed. I had postpartum depression I didn't know about. Matt and I started getting rocky because of financials. We were in the negatives. We had moved in with his parents, and if any of you guys know, like, I love my in-laws right now, but living with your in-laws, not a fun thing. If you've ever done that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You might love your in-laws no matter what, but it's hard to live with people. And so I got to that point where things just, they changed. Things in our life changed. And we went from being up on top of this mountain and so excited to have a baby to all of a sudden my health was going down. My mindset was going down. My mental illness was taking over, and we got everything taken away from us, and then we were down and we hit rock bottom, okay? And so I lived life for 7 years in that valley, not having a clue what I was going to do. And I kept doing the same thing every single day. I started working 110 hours every single day. And so that became my life. Instead of being with Matt and Bailey and trying to recover what we had gone through, I decided, okay, what's going to save us is money. And getting our life together through making more money. And so I worked and 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 worked, and I can't even explain to you guys how much I worked. It was insane. It was massive. So I worked for so long that I lost touch of like who anybody was. Like, I had no idea even who I was. And it got to the point where I needed a change, and that's when I stopped being insane. And I stopped saying, well, if I just keep working and I keep working and I keep just trying to pay off this or trying to pay off that, it doesn't matter. My money was going somewhere, no matter what I did. No matter what I paid off, there was always something new that came up that robbed me and made it so that I couldn't do anything, okay? And so unexpected things happen all the time. And I had to make the decision to change my life. And I had to switch courses. I had to switch my thinking. I had to stop thinking that life was just about working and making the money and making the money and making the money. I don't know what the heck my dogs are doing, but I had to bring more into my bubble. I had to stop living in this little bubble where it was just about working and it was just about living life to pay our bills and pay our bills, and this was how it was going to be, and I was going to live to work, make money, and then die. And that's what I was going to do. That was my entire life, okay? Sometimes I would have fun on the weekends, you know? That was just how it was. But I had to bring more into my bubble that I was living in order to get more out of my life. I had to change the chemistry inside my bubble. And so I had to find a way to make money without having to work 110 hours. And so that's when I started researching work from home jobs. And like I said, this isn't about my business, but this is my life. So this is how I incorporate this is how I translate what I hear every single morning when I'm, you know, because this is our life. This is our life. This is our business. Our business is our life. Our kids are our life, you know, and we work for the memories. We don't work for the money anymore. And so I started looking for online jobs, and I started looking, and then I came across one of those ads. You know those ads that come up on Facebook, like, you can make money from this, or you can make money from that, or whatever. So because I was searching it on Google, Facebook, you know, they are like magic. They can like hear you say something, and all of a sudden at-home jobs will just come up in your ads on Facebook. How many of you guys feel that way? Drop a 10 below if that has happened to you, because that was what happened, okay? I was looking up on Google work from home jobs because I want to change my life. I found this job. It was working with like an insurance company or something like that. And I say something like that quite literally because I got started and they didn't train me. They didn't do anything. They didn't even give me any tools, any resources, nothing. They took my money and away they went. And I never saw them, never heard from them, nothing. I messaged them and messaged them and messaged them, and I called them and I called them and I called them. And every single place that I called, there was nothing. There was nothing about it. And I was like, holy crap, what did I just do? Why is this on Facebook if this is not legit? So I was mad, okay? I was mad, and I was mad at them. And I, for a little while, was just like, you know what? I've done one of these businesses and I'm never going to do it again. I'm never going to trust anybody again. I'm never going to do anything ever again, okay? And I trusted in the fact that I had a failure with a different company that didn't do anything with me, okay? And so I pretty much settled and said I'm never going to do anything, and I ran back to my crap life of working 110 hours a week, and I just continued on doing that for a little while. And I watched this chick for a year on my Facebook, and I was talking to her like before this even happened, okay? So it's nuts. I was talking to her for an entire year, and I decided, I was like, okay, she's been talking about how she's making money and she's doing this and she's doing that. And I knew her in person. Like, I used to work with her at a call center. So I knew who she was. I knew like where she lived. I knew everything about her. And I asked her, I was like, how are you doing this? And she told me her secret of what she's doing. And I was like, okay. Finally, after a year of watching her, of doubting it, of saying all those things are a scam, I decided to hop on, and I got started, and once again, I expanded my bubble. I changed the chemistry inside my bubble. I decided, okay, if she's doing it, and I've been watching her for a year now, I know that I can do it too, because she told me what the secret sauce is. She told me what was going on. She told me what she was doing, and I just had to do it, and that was it. So I got started. In the first 5 months working this business, I was like, I don't know how to work this, so I'm not going to do it, okay? So my chemistry changed inside my bubble, but I wasn't doing more to get more. I wasn't doing more to get more. And so I was literally just sitting there like a sitting duck, waiting for some money to magically drop into my account, and so that I wasn't actually working. I had gotten started, but I wasn't actually working. And so I wasn't making any money, right? It's like showing up to your 9 to 5. If you didn't show up to your 9 to 5, would you get paid? No? No, you wouldn't. And so it's the same exact perspective when it comes to a business like mine. If you don't show up to your work every single day, you don't get paid. And so 5 months in, I started showing up to work, and I showed up consistently every single day for 2 months, and I went Ruby. Ruby is $500 a month. And then I was like, okay, if I can show up for 2 months, oh, maybe I could show up for like 6 months and we'll see what happens, okay? I showed up for another 6 months on top of that, and I went Emerald. That's an extra $1,000 a month, and that's a residual, okay? So I was making bonuses on top of this. So that was what was making my full-time income. That's why I was able to retire going Ruby, because I was getting bonuses like nuts, like crazy. Like I was making over like $3,000 in bonuses, like just by working my business consistently. And then I went Emerald, and that was $1,000 residually, but I was getting bonuses on top of that. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I just went Emerald. What's the next step? And I was like, okay, I want to go to conference this year. So I decided last year I went to conference. And so once again, I was scared crapless. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to hop on a plane. I was pregnant. I didn't want to do it. But I decided to change the chemistry inside my bubble and decided if I want more out of my business, I need to do more. And so I decided, I hopped on the plane. I went to Florida. I surrounded myself by millionaires. I talked with them, I laughed with them, I got excited with them, and then I came home, I went diamond, I earned a $10,000 bonus, plus bonuses on top of that, plus my commissions went up by like, it was like $2,000 it went up. It was insane. Like it was nuts. And I had never seen, at that point, I had never seen that amount of money drop in my account ever. Like I had never seen that in my entire life. And that's when I realized that all you have to do to change the chemistry of your bubble, you want more in your life, you gotta do more. No matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're working a single part-time job, okay, and you want more money, what you gotta do is you gotta go get yourself either a brand new job, or you need to get yourself a second job, or you need to find a side hustle or something. You got to do something. If you want to change your life and you want to stop living broke, and you want to stop, living paycheck to paycheck, and you want to stop not being able to spend time with your kids, and you want to stop doing all these things, and you want to bring more into your life. Or even like when it comes to losing weight, okay? I'm on a weight loss journey right now. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I've been working my butt off to try to get this whole routine together. And yesterday I started my routine of working out, and my legs are like jello, I'm telling you. It hurts like heck, but I did it anyways. And even if you're you're working out and you want more results, instead of just doing more, change your chemistry of what you're doing, okay? I have a girl that I talk to consistently, and she's lost a crap ton of weight, okay? She's done phenomenal, like this phenomenal. Like it's insane how much weight she's lost. She looks amazing. She's so healthy. She's done great. And then she comes to me and she says, I want to lose the last little bit of weight that I need to lose, okay? And we're talking about it, and I know it's been hard to kind of switch that chemistry out, and I know that that's hard for anyone, but in order to get different results, you have to change it. You can't keep doing the same exact thing over and over again and expect different results. It's just not going to happen for you. And I hate to be the bearer of the bad news, but that is literally what it's like. You have to switch it up. You have to change something. You need to add something into your diet, or you need to take something out of your diet, or you need to add supplements in. Maybe you need to do a detox. Maybe you need to start adding fruits and veggies more. Maybe you need to, you got to switch something up, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. And so if you want more in your bubble, if you want more in your life, you got to learn how to do more. You got to learn how to step outside of your bubble and do more in your life. Change the way that you think. Stop being so stubborn-headed like I used to be, and make a change for yourself. Do what you have to do in any aspect of your life. Do what you have to do. You want a better relationship with your other half? Stop doing the things that you're doing right now. Change them up. Do things differently. Speak a little different of a love language. Maybe you're speaking your love language, but you're not speaking their love language. Switch it up. Start speaking their love language. And I guarantee you, if you do more, you're gonna get more. That's just how life works, and that's how God works, guys. And I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. I'm gonna enjoy my pumpkin spice. If you want samples of the keto coffee, drop #samples below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Love you guys.